What is good, y'all? Welcome to High Phrase Presents 90s Till Infinity, Episode 3.
Episode 3.
I am Alite and
I'm Riz, and welcome.
This is a different one.
This is a different one. So we decided to do a newer album review, something in the last decade or so.
Hugely successful album.
Hugely successful album. We mulled over a couple different artists. I guess the voice of this generation in regards to hip hop, and R&B. So we mulled over J. Cole, Kendrick, the usual. And then I threw out Drake as a joke because I like Drake. Alite doesn't, but we'll get to that later. And this man here said, you know what? Let's do a Drake album. And I was pleasantly surprised because I didn't think I knew we spoke about it, that maybe one day we'll do a little bit of everything, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to judge the music, not so much the artist. But yeah, what made you pick Drake? Because we could have easily gone with a Kendrick and a J. Cole, and we would have been fine with that. Did you want to go outside your comfort zone?
Yeah, I definitely wanted to go outside my comfort zone, and I also wanted to see if I could actually sit through an entire Drake project.
Right.
Yeah, and I wanted to see how much of my thinking could be objective. Because, once upon a time, I did go to school for radio and TV broadcasting, and I would have had to be very kind of toe the line there. I wouldn't have been able to kind of pop off the way that I normally do. So I was trying to see if I could manage that line, go through an album of an artist, not necessarily the artist that I don't like, it's more the person for me.
Right.
And that sometimes makes it hard for me to get over the hump of actually listening to their music.
Now, obviously, Drake and the controversy that surrounds him, where people feel a certain type of way, which I get. But 2011, when the album got released, there was no controversy of that sort. So what did you think of Drake's music in 2011? Do you even remember that? That period, early Drake.
So mixtape Drake, I was a fan of.
Like a legitimate fan.
Legitimate fan. Like You the Best. I thought the song was amazing. I thought the mixtape was really good.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I was like, we have a Canadian rapper that's got some swag.
Right.
And is going to do something cool in the game. And it's funny because I think Marvin's Room was the last Drake song I remember listening to, thinking, this is a really cool mix of hip-hop, R&B.
Grown-up music.
Yeah. Because not a lot of artists attempt to balance that line.
And if they do, they don't do it well.
Yeah,
right?
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about the singer rappers in the game, a lot of rappers use melodies.
Right.
But to make full singing songs, I think, Kanye with 808 and Heartbreaks.
That was a little bit of that.
Would have kind of pushed the line a little bit.
Right.
I think Cole tries to sing. He's not really a good singer. He just got melodies.
I mean, M does it on choruses.
Right.
Yeah. But you're right. To do an actual song or a majority of a song in going back and forth with the rap and the R&B, that's not easy.
Yeah, and I think the interesting thing for me is, because I don't know a lot of the backstory of the songs, or the backstory of the production, or any of the things that kind of complete this process. But you already shared a few things that I think are really interesting. Part of it being the rush part of it.
The rush part of it, yeah. So Take Care, the album we are reviewing today. It's his second album. It's a sophomore album. His first album was Thank Me Later,
right?
And that that was released in 2009. And that Drake has said many times that it was a rushed album. And you were talking about the mixtape Drake, which was kind of set him on fire, right?
Yeah.
So people wanted an actual real body of work. Not that the mixtapes weren't, but they wanted like a legitimate album.
For sure, yeah.
So when he released it, he had a plethora of amazing producers, like the Dream Team. He had Timbaland, he had Swizz Beatz, he had, it was just on and on and on. But Kanye West, but he felt that it wasn't the sound. It wasn't mixtape Drake,
right? And
that's with him collaborating with his longtime producer and friend 40, who's a Canadian legend as far as producing is concerned. So he wanted to get back to that. So with Take Care, he spent a lot more time kind of cultivating the album and working closely with his friend and producer 40, who executive produced the whole album and did 14 out of the 18 tracks. So it's the OVO sound kind of coming to life
That became what it is
on a mainstream scale.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting to me because I was going through I've never listened to this album in its entirety.
Right.
There's songs I've ever heard Motto, and I've heard the song
The radio hit
Sampha, and
yeah.
So there's obviously songs in the album that have cut through the mainstream. But going through the entire project from first track to the end track, I think the number one thing that stands out to me was the lack of, at least from what I can see, a cohesive album feel, because there's a lot of songs.
There is a lot of songs. 18 tracks. He probably could have compressed it down to about 13, I would say. There was a lot of tracks that were a little bit filler, just kind of, and you get that on some albums, but I think he could have had, a lot of people revered this album as one of his best bodies of work, and I totally agree. But I'm sure it probably would have gotten a little bit more recognition if it was just scaled back a little bit,
right?
Because that sometimes waters it down, right?
I think so. With
a lot of projects, right?
You can't have, like, I think once you pass that 11-12 song mark, it's tough. The consistency is just tough,
right?
Because then you start to kind of get to that place where you stop being critical of what you're putting out, and everything's good. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. And I feel like a lot of legacy artists fall into that trap. I think Ice Cube falls into that trap, where he could have put out a 9-album banger, but instead puts out 19 songs, where 10 of them are just like songs you're never going to hear again. I think one of the only artists that sticks to the formula and keeps it tight is Nas.
And Jay-Z, I think. I was going to say Nas.
Great job. Yeah.
Say 10, 11, and that's it. But as a hip-hop artist, why do they feel that they need to put so many tracks on? Or why do some artists feel that?
I think some of the tracks are songs that have been sitting for a while, and they personally really love. Like, oh man, that song's got to get on an album. It's got to get. We got to put it on this. We got to find a place to put it, and then they end up putting it somewhere where it doesn't feel like it was a well thought out decision.
Got it.
It's kind of like
that makes sense.
Right. Because when I made my first album, Vanguard, in 2017, there were 13 songs.
Right.
And at one point there were 20 songs. And I'm like, oh hell no! I'm not putting out 20 songs, and nobody knows who I am. Nobody's ever going to hear the 20 songs. So I had to chop. And the great thing about doing that is you can repurpose some of those old ones,
right?
Keep parts that you like and revamp them and make them fresh. So that's what I found myself doing for the tracks that's a great take. The cutting room floor, right?
So what ultimately, in your opinion, made it? What was the criteria in what made it? And like what did those 7 songs not have that the other 13 did?
So the entire theme of the album for me had a feeling of revolution.
Okay.
Had a feeling of fuck the system. Had a feeling of stamping my identity. And some of the other fluff were like some club songs.
Got it.
Things that just didn't feel like, there were a couple like really sappy love R&B type songs.
Right.
I love that kind of music. I'm R&B kid by heart, but it just didn't fit the theme of the album. Because when I go back and listen to the album, I can feel the sequence, and the sequence makes sense.
Got it.
Right.
Got it.
And I feel like artists don't really pay attention to that anymore. And how do you pay attention to that with 18 songs?
Yeah. So it's not necessarily the quality of the song that was bad. It was just the puzzles didn't fit in that particular project.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So in this album, this is I feel it's a very grown-up album. It's there's not any real club bangers. It's not a party album. It's not a hardcore hip hop album.
Right.
It's a great fusion of R&B and rap and hip hop.
And it's second number one.
Right.
Which is crazy.
Yep. It sold. So it was released on the Young Money, Cash Money label. Young Money owned by Lil Wayne. He signed Drake and Nicki Minaj almost at the same time, which I gotta say, that's like having Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux
great
on
picks.
The same team, right?
Great picks.
2 number 1 draft picks.
Yeah.
Like we said, it's a sophomore album released November 15th, 2011, a couple days before your birthday.
He's a Scorpio.
He's a Scorpio. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And it debuted at number 1 on the top 200 Billboard charts. 631,000 copies sold in its first week. On top of that, the album was leaked 9 days prior to its release, and it's still sold 631. So if it didn't leak, we probably would have had a million
First week.
I could be confident with that. 4 of the singles hit the Billboard top 20. Headlines, Make Me Around, Motto, and Take Care. And this album won Drake his first Grammy Award at the 2013 Grammys. First Grammy Award.
Rap album?
Best rap album, correct.
Damn.
So very significant in his career trajectory as far as growth, as far as sales, as far as just grown up music. I mean,
and as of October 2023, certified 8 times platinum.
Yeah, that's not an easy feat,
dude. For a Canadian hip hop artist,
you can
unheard of.
That you can't even merge the two, right? Because it's not possible. It was never possible.
I mean, Rascals had a great run.
Cardi was the closest to sell.
Cardinal official. Right? Shout out to Cardinal. Yep. Yeah.
Shout out to Cardinal.
Yeah. I mean, Cardinal's found his relevance culturally in a much different way.
Yes.
Not in the metrics of album sales.
No.
But for a Canadian hip hop artist to sell 8 million copies in that landscape of hip hop, where the competition, I mean, people might say, oh, 90s hip hop. Okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But the competition that he had to face, monsters to go against.
I mean, 2011 was a huge. Yeah,
Kendrick, Cole, Eminem was still popping. There's a lot of pop hip hop.
You still had Jay-Z.
Yeah, you still had to deal with Jay-Z.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pop hip hop that was breaking the surface.
That's right.
And Drake's kind of like the head of the monster when it comes to that part of it.
Correct.
Yeah,
I totally agree with that. And yeah, so I mean, debuted amazingly, and in 2020, Rolling Stone listed it as on their top 500 albums of all time, not hip hop, just top 95th. Now that sounds low, but when you think about it, out of 500, that's pretty impressive. We're talking about albums of
all time:
Beatles, Elvis,
Sinatra,
Michael Jackson, Frank Sinatra.
My God.
You name it, they're all in there. And to be 95th, that's impressive.
That's a big one.
That's impressive.
So the big thing for me is now when we look at this album, we go through the songs. Y'all are going to get some unfiltered opinions about lyrics from me because that's just how it's got to be. Wherever you are in the world, if you're lighting up, make sure you light up. And make sure you do all the good things that we always like to do. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications. If you're on our Facebook Live, make sure you like the High Phrase page.
Please.
If you're on the YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe. We're going to show clips on TikTok. If you follow the TikTok, make sure you do that as well. But appreciate all you guys' support. The retention on the videos have been amazing. We're going to keep bringing you uncut, unfiltered hip-hop content. And shout out to the haters. Can't do it without you.
We love you. We love the haters.
Love the haters.
Love the haters. So your feel of the album, not cohesive.
It's okay. So I'm thinking, I think I may have a rating system that we want to try out.
Okay. Sure.
Because technically we're 90s OGs.
Yes.
And I think
certified.
I think
triple OG.
I think as certified 90s OGs, I think our scale should be whether the album is a certified 90s OG classic.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
And I think what we can do is we can't use the 5 mic system because of course the source has it. Yeah. We can't use the microphones because that's double XL.
Right.
But being 90s OG, I think it'd be kind of cool if we have 5 CDs.
I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
So we'll see how many CDs you can get to be a certified 90s OG album. I'm going to do one just for the last album that we did, which is NWA's For Life album. That is a 5 CD 90s OG certified classic from Alite for sure.
5 for me too.
Dope.
100%.
So let's get into this first track.
Okay. So track number 1, it's the intro. Over My Dead Body. So produced by 40. And also produced by Canadian singer Chantal Kreviazik. Thank you. Crazy. She's I think a lot of you know who she is. She's a famous Canadian singer. Yeah, folk pop. She's married to another famous singer, the leader of the alternative band Our Lady Peace.
Oh shit! I know that.
The lead singer. So, Over My Dead Body. I found it. It's a very simple piano beat. I just want to say sonically, the whole album for me, and because I'm an audiophile, I really like really high quality sound and codecs and high end headphones and speakers, and you know that. Yeah. And I felt like this whole album is very sonically clear. It's mastered amazingly. It's very sharp.
Yeah,
right. It hits all the notes.
Well done. Right? Technically, very proficient.
Right. And I think that's a lot to do with 40.
Yeah,
because he said that where he's very meticulous about that. But yeah, simple piano beat. I thought the lyrics are great. He's really on point. This is a lot of people, especially the younger fans. They always talk about. I don't know if you've heard of this old Drake and new Drake.
Yeah, I did a lot.
And this and the new Drake is. They say he's a little bit lazy because he's just so rich and he's so popular that that fire has kind of it's kind of died down. So he doesn't really care as much. He still hit you with some hot lines, but it's not this. Do you feel that artists get in that zone sometimes where they get a little, I wouldn't say overconfident, but they get they're just larger than life that they're bigger than.
I think a part of it is they like when you get a certain level of success.
Yeah.
And then the thing that drove you to make great music is the hunger to be successful.
Right.
So once the success comes and you've kind of checked that off, now you have to find different sources of inspiration to like pull that hunger out of you. And I feel like sometimes artists just say, "Fuck it, I'm killing it. People are just gonna fuck with my shit regardless." And
that's well said. That's exactly what.
And I think it happened to Cole too on his last 2 albums. I think Cole just got into a pattern of excellence where he's like, "This is what people are always gonna like." If any other artist put out those albums, they'd be like, "That's a great album." But because Cole sets the bar so high, you're like, I heard this. I already heard this. This is the 5th time you've done this album, right? I need more.
You need more. But there's you only can get away with that for so long. And then your fans will eventually be like, "Okay, this is trash."
Yeah. Like, I don't think, good. Like, who can you think of in hip hop that has been able to stay away from that hole? I can't think of an artist in hip hop that's been able to navigate their longevity without any significant musical misses.
I'm gonna say Jay-Z.
Right.
I mean, his album, even the
Jay
ones that
the closest.
Right.
Yeah.
Even the ones that like American Gangster. Some people thought maybe not as sharp. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
444. Like I said, some people
great album as well.
A different album.
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
My only Jay-Z miss is the Magna Carta.
Yeah.
No, sorry. Kingdom Come.
Oh, is that really?
Yeah. Kingdom Come for me personally.
You don't think Magna Carta?
Magna Carta was not terrible.
But Kingdom Come had Dr. Dre production.
Yeah, it did. And the sounds of the album were amazing.
You just didn't like it as a whole.
I just think that really, it's a gift and a curse when you're great. Because when you put out these phenomenal projects, you're like, okay, now what's next?
Right.
Now what's next? And I think Nas may be one of those rare ones that even though each album wasn't progressively way better, he's doing
consistent.
Yeah, he's doing enough where you're like, oh, I haven't heard him do that before. Like, that's cool. That's new. I totally agree. Right? I think Kanye was on the way there before the Nazi Juice. I think Kendrick overall has had a pretty phenomenal run. I can't think of any real significant. I think Mr. Morale for people may have been a little too personal for people because he talks about a lot of
too real.
Yeah. Some real emotional things. Yeah. So I think that's a tough one. But like, because Drake hit such crazy numbers,
and not just for a Canadian, just for an artist in general.
Not just a hip hop artist.
His takeoff was like you said, from the mixtape. He was selling 1 million copies of his mixtape.
Dude, the numbers are crazy. His run with numbers is nuts.
And every rapper at that time, they were all talking about like, this kid's gonna be the next guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you don't get that very often.
The cosigns were massive.
Like you get that in sports, right?
Yeah.
But you don't really get that in music, not that much.
Yeah.
Like we got it with Kendrick.
Yeah.
You got it with J. Cole.
Yeah.
But you don't really get that with a lot of people, like that you're gonna be that next person.
Yeah, I think
Nicki had that.
I think Cole had I think Drake had a handful of people that weren't on his bandwagon. I know DMX did.
DMX didn't
was very anti
Breakfast Club and very adamantly said he did not like Drake. But DMX didn't like a lot of people.
DMX is the bomb man.
Yeah.
I think Ghostface had some issues.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, significantly speaking, his run has been unparalleled. There's been no one.
And for the amount of people who didn't mess with him, he had the Jay-Z's on his side. He had the Eminems. And you don't get a clean fight from Eminem.
Yeah.
You don't get a... No. That's hard.
No.
You know, and
M did murder that.
Yeah, he did. He did.
So yeah, I like this intro. I think it's a good way to start the album. I think musically it's really, really good. I'm okay with some of the wordplay here. The bars are decent. I don't really know.
You didn't like the bar. You didn't think they were. I thought they were pretty impressive.
Yeah, I know there's a really good Kevin Hart bar.
Yeah.
On there.
Yeah.
He's got a couple of clean rhymes overall. The thing for me is I have a hard time listening to songs where you rhyme the N word over and over and over.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but honestly, overall, it's a really solid way to start the album. I think sonically, it's a great kind of like a great kind of like fuck you to everybody
It is, yeah.
that thought that he wasn't even gonna have a
second album, right?
So
what would you rate that?
I would say that's gonna get a 3.5.
3.5.
3.5 CDs for me.
3.5 CDs. I'm giving it a 5. Why I say that, and that's big, it's because I love the music. That's the beat. I'm a music guy.
Yeah.
I really like production, and the music was really on point. And I thought the rap, he had some really clever ad-libs. And he's slick. I mean, he's slick.
He's definitely slick.
Playing, man.
Some of that feels like to me, it feels like he's like really wants to get that approval from.
Oh,
like, I'm fucking. Y'all need to call me that one.
Totally.
Right. And when I hear, because I mean, it's so weird reviewing an artist's album where I don't relate to the artist personally. It's so rare for me to do that.
Right.
I'm normally locked in with the artist in some way, and it's so hard for me to lock in with him personally. So I can only look at the music without I feel like without any positive bias towards him.
But I think that's changed because in the 90s we couldn't really relate to a lot of the stuff we were listening to.
No, not at all.
But in our head,
it was aspirational.
Right.
It was the thing that we wanted to be.
Right.
The baller, big band,
or we kind of they painted a picture for us.
Yes.
Which we loved.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So so there you go. That's the first track.
Mm-hmm.
Second track. So the first official track of the album, I guess, after the intro. Titled Shot For Me. So once again produced by 40.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you noticed, but it actually has an SWD sample in it.
Oh, not Rain, right? No, it's not going to be
anything. It's got the anything. It's a very subtle sample, but it's there.
It's a great song.
This is R&B heavy. It's an R&B heavy track, in my opinion, and it's got a bit of a electronica dance R&B type kind of feel, which the whole album kind of resonates that kind of vibe. And the bass is amazing in this song. The bass is really good. So yeah, what are your thoughts?
It's obviously a shot at all of his exes.
It's definitely a shot at
and the thing is, the beat is amazing. I think it sounds incredible. Okay, I'm waiting for a goosebump moment. I'm waiting for that.
You're not gonna get that on this.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that beat to hit where I'm like, ooh, like I want to make that face. And there are a couple songs on here where I did get that.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Ooh, I love that one.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's good.
This was kind of mid for me. I'd give it a 3.
You give it a 3.
Yeah.
I give it a 3.5. I give it a 3.5.
Yeah.
But overall, the album, he even stated that it's a love torn album. Like he's talking about relationships. He's talking about love. He's talking about haters. Like it's I wouldn't say it's a dark album, but it's
definitely melancholy.
Right. I think that's the perfect word for it.
Yeah. It's a mood.
He's not angry, but he is. He's feeling some type.
Yeah, it's a mood for sure. Right?
Yeah,
definitely.
And then we go to track 3, which was his first official video. Was for this song, and I think he had released a couple other songs prior, but they were released not as official singles, but then they became official singles after. But Headlines was his official single. So the name of the song is called Headlines. It's a super hyper beat. It's produced by Boy Wonder, another Canadian
banger.
Canadian producer who's worked with Eminem. He's worked with Dr. Dre. The guy's worked with everybody.
This is one of those.
You like the beat?
Fucking banger.
You like the beat?
I like the beat. His cadence is on point. He chose the cadence that fits his flow. The shit that he was saying was dope.
Right.
The first line, I think I'm too strong on compliments. And it kind of feels real.
Did you like that, the way he kind of changed his flow in that?
Yeah, he flipped back and forth really well. And then the R&B suited. Right, the R&B timing was really dope.
Yeah.
I think this is one of my favorite songs on the album.
So this this is the Drake that you like. These type of songs.
Yeah. Like even like best I ever had. That's one of my favorite songs.
That's a dope song,
right? Like that's just well executed,
right?
And it feels real,
right?
There's none of this like I'm up here, everybody else in the world is down here, and I feel like there's a little bit of that elitist mentality in some of Drake's music,
sure.
Because there's a lot of fuck you songs.
Sure, there is.
There's a lot of I'm the shit, fuck you,
right?
And this song, like if we're just reading the lyrics, I might be too strong out of compliments, overdose of confidence, starting not to give a fuck and stop fearing the consequence, drinking every night because we drink to my accomplishments, faded way too long, I'm floating in and out of consciousness. That feels like a real stream of thought.
Right.
That kind of like, I'm living this life, it's way outside of my control, shit is so hectic and crazy all the time, maybe I'm just feeling my own shit too hard. And that feels like a real take on the life that you're living in, which you're
no, that's a fair assessment.
When it gets into all like the gangster shit and like Godfather stuff, and I get it, you're telling a story, you've got to entertain.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you got to understand how people really see you. You're the dude from Degrassi.
Yeah.
Right?
Fair enough.
And the thing is, you created a legion of young people that don't know that Degrassi dude, that just see this gangster dude.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And they think that's what he, But I mean, he's not the first to do that.
Definitely not.
And I think you're right. The elitist Drake came after the fact. This is the hungry Drake.
This is on his way there.
Right. Because this is when everybody was on his side.
Mm-hmm.
Now, everybody's against him.
Yeah.
So he almost has to make that kind of fuck you the
villain. Yeah.
Right. But nonetheless, great song, a great single to release.
Yeah, dude, this is the way to This is the way to set up an album, man.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna have a first single, this is it.
Yeah.
Hook is super easy.
Yeah.
Beats banging.
Beats dope.
This is a 5 for me for sure.
I would give it a 4. And another side note, and this is why I like Drake, because he always keeps it Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
The music video is shot in a Shoppers Drug Mart.
Isn't that started from the bottom?
Oh, you're right. My bad. Wow, you know more about Drake than I do.
You know why?
See, I did that on purpose. I did that on purpose to see.
You know why? I know that?
Because you should have.
My ex used to work. My ex worked at Shoppers in the pharmacy.
Right.
So every time that video would come on, she would be like, "Oh yeah!" Like, Shoppers, relax.
So you are a Drake fan. Anyways, okay. So track number 4, True Love.
This was interesting because I thought they had beef.
Yeah, this is when The Weeknd and Drake, because Drake, The Weeknd has said in the past that Drake is the one who gave him a look.
Yeah.
And that
took him on tour and stuff.
Yeah, that propelled him.
Yeah.
So at one time, and the XO label is a Canadian hip-hop R&B label. Famous, they have with The Weeknd, they have Belly. And so them and OVO, they were very close, very tight-knit. So this is when everybody was kosher with each other. The Weeknd makes an appearance. Early Weeknd, 2011. Were you a fan of The Weeknd in 2011?
I've never really been a fan of The Weeknd.
Right. Me as well.
There's a couple of songs that are really cool that he has.
Yeah.
I think all the songs everyone likes.
Well, side note,
I Can't Feel My Face and stuff like that.
You like Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say he's got that Michael Jackson-esque kind of a voice. Some people
I think he tries to emulate MJ, but for anyone that's a music fan, if you think The Weeknd is an MJ-like artist, you're fucking insane.
Yeah.
I mean, Weeknd's done some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
He's got a really cool, I don't know if you follow the story of his album covers. And some cool stuff that he does. He's more than just a musician, an actual artist.
Yeah.
And the voice has always been weak for me.
It's vocally.
Yeah, dude, it's weak. It sounds like, it's very whiny.
That's what it is.
Right? Like,
Lloyd, yeah.
Similar vein.
Right.
They're good for hooks.
Right.
But hearing the whole song, it's tough.
Fair enough. What did you think of him on this song?
It's a good song.
Yeah.
It's a good song.
It's a solid song.
Yeah, it's well written.
It's called True Love, if I can say that.
The beat's tough.
The beat is tough.
Yeah.
It's a very I don't know, it's hardcore, but it's laid back at the same time. I don't know. That's the best way to describe it.
Drake says some dope stuff on here.
I feel like it's very rich music.
Yeah.
And like you're in a penthouse.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
That's exactly the goal, man.
Right.
Sell you that lifestyle, make you feel like you need to be there.
Yeah.
And some of the bars are dope. Like it's so funny how it ended up on this part. I told my story, it made his story. Like that shit's cool. That's fresh.
Right.
I think it's some good thing with the bars.
Yeah.
I think Weeknd filled in nicely.
Yeah.
They complement each other's styles really well. They kind of are very similar artists in how they make music. As far as the melody.
In some ways, yeah, definitely.
So I think if they didn't have beef, I don't know what the beef is still to this day.
I don't know either.
But if they didn't have beef, they'd probably make some great songs together.
I think they would I think a collab album would be dope. Right?
Because he did it with who?
Party Next Door. Yeah.
Party Next Door is cool. I like Party Next Door.
So what would you give?
This is a 4 for me.
4?
Yeah.
I give it a 3.5. Yeah. And that was also produced by 40 and The Weeknd. So The Weeknd, and you can feel that it's got that Weeknd-esque
the cocaine
music,
fuel.
right? Yeah.
Is there a plug beside you somewhere there?
Yeah.
For this the laptop. Uno momento. Gotta make sure we have our resources in check. Interesting. I didn't think I would ever be in a situation where I'd be giving Drake props on songs.
Yeah, no kidding.
Definitely is a period of growth. Cheers to everybody out there right now that you're watching. We appreciate the love. If you are watching, make sure you hit a share it with your people, and get us popping off a little bit more than we're already starting off to. So
definitely.
So crew love.
Okay, so the next single is the album title track "Take Care," featuring Rihanna.
Riri.
So this is their second collab. They've done 3 in total. 2 on Drake albums and 1 on Rihanna's album. So it's featuring Rihanna. It's got a Gil Scott Heron sample.
Oh, lyrically or on
musically? Yeah, musically. I think it has to do with when they start off with the piano beat and then that background music. Yeah, I think there's something there. But it credits in as a sample. Total dance club. This is the only probably club banger, right?
That would get played on all radio.
Total radio hit.
Yeah.
But very high energy. Very great. They all 3 of their collabs are always
all have a Caribbean feel to them.
Yep.
All could fit in like a dance hall space. It's meant for bodies to be close.
Totally.
This one for me, the beat's kind of meh.
You don't like?
I don't really care for the beat too much. Yeah, I'm actually I like Rihanna a lot. I think Rihanna's dope.
Yeah.
Beat is kind of like didn't do it for you.
Just didn't do it for me. I really like the song. I thought, just like I said, it's just a solid hit song. Like I mean, it's just got everything. It's got all the ingredients for a hit song, and I think they collab really well. So for me, yeah, I give it a 4.5.
What was the other?
So they had a song in yeah, they had that one, right. And then they had a song prior to this on Rihanna's album called "What's My Name," which I thought was phenomenal. It's one of my favorite songs. Produced by Stargate. You probably heard it.
I've probably heard it.
Yeah. So
this one would be a 3 for me.
3 for you. Okay.
The next one, this is an interesting one. This one is an interesting one.
So the next one, go for it.
So this is, interestingly enough, one of my favorite melodies.
Yeah, I mentioned it.
Yeah, this melody, the song is called Marvin's Room. And the melody for me is one of those melodies on a song that just like gets in your head and you can't, it just doesn't leave. To me, that's great songwriting, great melody creating. Whoever put that melody together, big ups on that one. Marvin's Room is a certified 5 for me for sure.
I give it a 3.5. The beat for me, it was good, but it wasn't. I don't know. Not up to par.
It's a miss for you.
It's a miss for me. Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was just a little. I felt it was maybe a little too slow. I don't know. There's something.
So you know what's really dope. I think on these kind of albums, where we didn't listen to them together coming up,
right?
We're gonna have completely different opinions on them.
We are. Which is great.
Oh, I love it.
Right.
Because I'm gonna learn things about music in that way too. So,
and that's the whole purpose of this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we're going to go to track number 7, which is Buried Alive Interlude. So this...
It's a long interlude.
Must have shocked you when you found out on this song. Do you want to...
Yeah, so I was at the gym and I was playing this album and then the song starts.
Yeah.
And I'm saying like, wait a minute.
That's not Drake.
And I for a minute I thought, is Drake doing Kendrick's flow? Because this doesn't make sense. But there's some songs on here that feel like he's taking shots at someone. Doesn't
I totally agree.
Right?
Yeah, I totally
agree.
So
for me, I was like, wait, were they good here? Kendrick pops up on the track. with his,
Spoiler.
Kendrick flow, the kind of this rap runs roughshod all throughout the beat, and I was very impressed.
This is a young, hungry Kendrick. Not that he isn't now, but I mean, you really hear it in his voice.
Different dude. He was a different dude then.
And he said in interviews where Drake gave him a good look and this, that, and the other. So at one time, these two individuals, believe it or not, I know it might be a revelation to some of you, they were friends. They were friends in some capacity, and they respected each other's art. I think
they were on tour together.
They were on tour together.
On tour.
That's right.
But the opening of the song, when Kendrick's like, looking in the mirror, I'm embarrassed. I'm feeling like a suicidal terrorist. React like an infant whenever you are mentioned. Mind over matter never worked for my nemesis. Like the bar quality, fire all the way.
Do you think he's subliminally taking shots at
Feels like it.
Yeah. There could be an undertone there.
Yeah, which doesn't make sense. I mean, maybe this is kind of where that all started.
Yeah.
But
didn't M do that to Jay on Renegade?
For sure.
There was that little undertone of, listen, big brother, small, young, like little brother,
yeah,
big brother. Kanye did it with Jay-Z.
Yeah, I think M wanted to show up Jay for sure.
Right?
I think it went to prove a point.
So I think,
like, everyone says, you're the greatest. I think I'm the greatest.
And I think Kendrick's doing that here.
Well, I mean, just look at his line, right? Yeah. Like, they give him an addition to keep him in the Mercedes-Benz bright lights and Rihanna as a lady friend.
Yeah. Right. And we know that especially at that time, Drake was all over. Like, he was madly in love.
He was simping. He was simped for her.
Yeah. So I think you're right. I think he's taking shots, but he's doing it in a very nice way.
Yeah.
But Kendrick does that, doesn't he? Does he not do that?
I think he does.
Right? He does though.
Yeah.
Because he, like you said earlier, we were talking about it. He doesn't like anybody. It's just Kendrick, and you're in his world.
Yeah. I mean, come on. His first monster song was Control, where he took shots at everybody in the industry.
So, the beat is a futuristic beat, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And you know what? When I was listening to Kendrick, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but his flow really reminded me of Kid Cudi, Man on the Moon vibes.
Yes.
Right? Remember?
Well, the thing is, like, a lot of this generation artists really worship Kid Cudi.
Yes, I didn't know that.
He's like an icon to them.
Really?
Like, they hold him in the same vein as they would hold a Kanye for that era.
Right. He's very niche.
He's very dark.
Yeah, he is very dark.
We got to do a Kid Cudi album. That'd be a fun experience. But I
did get that vibe. Did you get a little bit of that?
For sure.
Yeah, you did. Okay. So I give it a 4 out of 10. 4 CDs out of 5.
Yeah, 4 for me too.
4 for you. Mm-hmm. Okay. And that was also produced by 40. Next song, Underground Kings. Underground Kings. So there's a double entendre with this. Underground Kings, if some of you don't know, UGK was a Houston hip-hop group that started off in the early 90s. Actually, I was introduced to them by your brother.
Yeah.
He's the one.
Big gangsters.
He had that. I forget the name. Was it Riding Dirty?
It was Riding Dirty.
Yeah. Because I think that might have been the first South album.
Probably.
Because we're talking like 92.
Yeah, this is early.
Yeah. And so I didn't understand that kind of music because we were subjected to West Coast music. So that sound, we were a little early on that.
Yeah.
We were late on it.
We weren't ready for it.
No. Not until Cash Money. No.
Actually, I would try to say Ghetto Boys first.
But for me, Ghetto Boys was 1 or 2 songs. It wasn't the whole, maybe Scarface, but even the Scarface album, The Diary, wasn't a Southern feeling album.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
Right?
No.
But Ghetto Boys, yeah, maybe.
The Diary was very sophisticated.
But I can't honestly say that I listened to a whole Ghetto Boys album. I listened to the hits.
Right.
But anyways, so yeah, Underground Kings. So a lot of people, if you know that, you know Drake's history, his dad is originally from Memphis, Tennessee, which is down south in the United States. So he spent all his summers growing up in Houston. So he was subjected to a lot of down south hip hop. He said, he was a big Cash Money fan, 3 6 Mafia, UGK, Scarface. I mean, this was it for him.
Yeah.
So he does in my opinion, an ode to Lil Wayne, who's his label boss and a mentor and one of his favorite rappers. But he quotes a lot of Lil Wayne lyrics in the song, and then he shouts out a lot of Memphis rappers like Yo Gotti and a couple other guys. Production done by Another Canadian producer, I don't know if you've heard of him, T minus. So he's
Yeah.
okay. Mm-hmm. So he collaborated on this one for production wise with 40. Solid track for me, not over the top, but not a bad song.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's all cliches, right? Everything, all the writing is cliche. It kind of just takes all of the traditional
cliche.
Like so, like for example, just a line like, and he's got them diamonds going in him up, they're rocking furs like it's snowing in the south.
Right.
Like, a lot of these kind of like rhymes that have been beat to death, all the rappers kind of use the same reference points. So it feels like just took a whole bunch of different southern reference points, just do them all in one song.
But did you not see it as a tribute to southern music as opposed to just finding their lines?
Yeah. See, I didn't feel the tribute part. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he named the song "Under Nothing."
Yeah, for sure. And for me, it felt more like a co-opt than a tribute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, but I also didn't know the connection that he had to the South.
Right.
So that gives it a little bit different perspective.
So what do you give it?
This is a 3 for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I give it a 3.5.
Yeah.
Okay, so next song will be Fine, featuring Birdman, who's another label boss. He's the one of the co-bosses of Cash Money Records, him and his brother Ronald Slim. So the song's called "Will Be Fine," and it's got Birdman. Now, Birdman is not known.
He is the dopest rap. He's the dopest whack rapper.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm okay with that because he has hit songs.
Yeah, because he's fine,
and we loved him when he was Big Timers. Yeah, that was the most
the boots.
Yeah,
nonsense.
It's total,
but he keeps it fun.
Yeah, and he keeps it real.
He does.
Whatever you want to say about it, he's always kept it up.
Put some respect.
Yeah,
on my name.
The beat for me is convoluted. It's all over the place, in my opinion. I did not like the beat. It kind of goes here, it kind of goes there. It's like I'm not a fan of when I don't mind beat switches, like TV off. Mm-hmm. That's one beat switch, right? Mm-hmm. And it just propels it. Yeah. But I don't like it when a song has 4 or 5. It starts really, like, sonically, I don't like it. Right. I don't know where you.
I know I'm there with you too, man. It's got to be appropriate for the song.
Right.
It just feels like a weird collab. I feel like almost a collab, like before the album was started, Drake said to Birdman, "Yo, man, you got to get on a song." And Birdman's like, "Yeah, man, we'll do that." And that's why they made a song.
It's like having your teacher in your class project.
Good.
Right?
A good take.
You want to get brownie points because he or she is the teacher.
Yeah.
So you want to include them, but you
wouldn't have done it.
You have no other. Yeah. I honestly, I gave it a 2. And I'm being nice.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
That's generous.
Yeah.
I'm going to be nice and say a 2 as well. Yeah.
You're very charitable.
We don't want to give zeros.
But we will.
Yes.
We have to.
Yes.
Okay, so next song, "Make Me Proud." Another song produced. So this song's solely produced by T minus, and you can tell when T minus or Boy Wonder either collabs on production on this album or does solely the song. It's totally different 40 sound.
Yes.
Get that?
Yeah.
Right away, within 5 seconds of listening to the song, you know this is not a 40 song.
Yeah, and see, that's part of where the cohesiveness.
And now I get what you're saying,
right?
I totally get it.
Because, like for example, on a Blueprint, you had Just Blaze and Kanye, but you didn't know the album had a full cohesive feel,
right?
Because they both kind of stayed in the pocket, right? Soul samples,
it's true,
crazy drum beats, and they built it that way. This one, when the switches are they're like
right,
it's a different album.
Do you think if it was just strictly 40, and like we said, if it was compressed, it could have been a better album?
Should have been just 40.
Yeah,
I
agree. So next song, "Make Me Proud." So we see Nicki Minaj, who is a co-label artist of Young Money, Cash Money. This would be at least the second time they collaborated because they did collaborate on his first album. For me, once again, beat is all over the place, but the highlight is Nicki. Nicki, and this is the Nicki that I like. Not to tell you that I don't like Nicki now, but this is BET Cypher Nicki. This is Nicki, not pop Nicki, not Starships Nicki. This is HipHop Nicki. This is the Nicki that I love and still love. Now she's transformed into something else, which I totally get. You know, you gotta grow and whatever. But this is the Nicki that really scared people.
Dude, this is Nicki you don't want to fuck with.
Are you a Nicki Minaj fan?
Yes.
Are you a current Nicki Minaj fan?
Okay, so Pink Friday 2 was the last album I think she did.
I think you're right.
And it had like 50 Cent.
Right.
It had a few different collabs on
I
it.
think you're right.
And it wasn't awful. Okay, so the thing with Nicki is every artist that exists now is built off of her prototype. All the voice switches.
Are you talking about female artists?
Female artists.
Yeah, okay.
All the voice switches, the cadence flips, the like Megan Thee Stallion takes a lot of Nicki's flow. Doechii is like a reincarnate of Nicki. And the crazy personalities, the wild voice switches. That's all Nicki.
The accents.
Yeah, Nicki does shit. Like the shit that she started built all these current female rappers. Right? So when I like just reading some of these lines, I'm like,
they stand on her shoulders.
Oh yeah.
Just like Lil Kim, Foxy Brown, and Mia.
Yeah, I think the only problem with Nicki now, the art quality hasn't changed, the artist quality hasn't changed, but beat selection is whoever does the beat selection is out to lunch.
I'm totally agree.
It's gone. Like the idea of song building, I don't know what happened in that space. Maybe somebody left the crew.
Yeah,
but it doesn't have that magic anymore.
True.
But this Nicki,
you're like,
God damn,
she's dangerous on this song,
dude. She's one of the best.
She's a threat. You remember her on the BET Cypher?
Yeah,
she was with Joe Biden murdered. I mean, she was the only female that she stood on her own. Yeah,
and like even the what she did on Monster.
Oh, yeah.
If you can outshine Jay-Z on a track, you did some shit.
Yeah.
And Kanye was on that too. She outshined everybody on that. But yeah, this is one of my favorite songs on the album. I think they did a really good job. They collab really, really well together. Their styles complement each other. This is a 4 for me.
I give it a 3, just because the beat, once again, for me, it's a little all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, she outshines Drake 100%. Yeah. Right? Like she just and she does that to a lot of people. She's like Eminem. She's like Eminem, and she's like Drake, because Drake does that to other artists. And a lot of people have said that.
Yeah.
He'll come on your song and he'll make it a hit song.
Yeah, she's an artist that if you're gonna collab with, you have to get her verse first.
True.
So you know what you're up against.
True.
You can't just write something and then send it to her for her to write, because she's gonna fuck you up.
I think Kanye said something like that where for Monster, when they got her when he heard it, they're
all like, ah, shit.
Yeah, someone had to rewrite it because they were like, that's crazy. Yeah, okay, so next track, Lord Knows, featuring Rick Ross, who at one time I liked. Not so much, not because him and Drake don't get along, because now they don't get along. A lot of people and Drake don't get along, but he's one of them. It's just that I remember, lyrically, Rick Ross has always been strong to me. Lyrically, I'm saying he's got some bars, and his beat selection has always been very good. He's got good music.
Yeah, Maybach music production is
like hustling. Like he's got some really good songs.
But fuck Rick Ross.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at with it. Now, so I've seen the light.
Well,
because he's like, I don't know. There's just something about. I mean, obviously, I know he's not that guy.
Yeah,
he says he's that guy, but he's not really.
So for me, it's day one.
Yeah, right? I mean, he's a corrections officer.
It's day one because of the stealing of the identity of the Rick Ross. And you know what the worst part about that is for me?
Yeah,
not just the theft of the name.
No, because Noriega did that.
Sure.
I mean,
all over the place.
Right,
but. When Freeway got out of prison, he reached out to the rapper and said, "Yo, let's talk about this. Let's maybe do something together, and then you can use the name."
I didn't know that.
And Rick Ross said no.
Yeah, see, that makes me dislike him.
Yeah, he ignored him. He pushed him aside. Said no. Yeah, and then they went to court for it. I didn't
know that.
So since then, that's why he doesn't call himself Rick Ross anymore. He's Ricky Rose. Right. So for me, it was from the get-go. It was like, okay, first of all, you stole somebody's identity.
Right.
Second of all, dude, you're a corrections officer, and then you're portraying this gangster like you, a king of Miami.
You can't do
both the coke and
yeah, you can. You can't do that. And so yeah. So I mean, that's a little background in Rick Ross.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is produced by one of our favorite producers, Just Blaze.
Yeah.
And if you know hip hop from the Rockefeller start, that's kind of where Just Blaze got his start, really, with early Rockefeller. He is a profound producer in hip hop. He has produced some of the biggest hip hop bangers, classic songs of all time. And he doesn't produce when you look at his discography, he hasn't produced that many songs. It's just the impact of the songs. Every song is better than the next.
100%. Yeah, one of the greatest users of soul samples. His drum patterns are some of the best ever. I think that when you look at that entire era of hip hop from 2005 to 2015, Just Blaze's fingerprints.
Oh, 100%.
And if Kanye was ever a real human, he would say the reason he produces the way he does is because of Just Blaze.
Right.
But you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, Just Blaze, his sample game. If you don't know, Just Blaze is the guy behind Oh Boy, you know, Cameron. He did a lot of Diplomat stuff. He did a lot of Jay-Z classics. I mean, PSA. I mean, the list goes on and on. He did an Eminem and the Eminem and Lil Wayne song that he did.
Oh yeah,
he produced that.
Oh,
you know, the one with that Hadaway sample, "What Is Love."
Yes,
which both of them killed.
Yeah.
He samples that. So yeah, he's a great producer, a legend. It's got the song has a Rockefeller vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's got a little bit of a Rockefeller of the late '90s vibe because of the sample. It's got the church choir in the background, which I always like. I always like that kind of gospel,
very glossy,
very glossy.
Talk a lot of shit.
Ross is solid. Lyrically, he's solid. He doesn't take anything away from the song. I think the collab is good. I like the beat. You know, I give it four CDs.
Beats banging.
Yeah.
Everything else I'm not a fan of. I would give it a 3. I hate saying that because the beat is so dope.
Yeah.
I would rather just rate the beat. If I'm rating the beat alone, it's 4.5 because the beat's banging. But you know, some of the stuff they talk about, it's not even about being able to relate. It just seems so fraudulent.
Who's the better rapper on the song?
Oh, Drake for sure.
Drake,
for sure.
Okay,
without a doubt.
All right. Next song is actually a full song, but they call it an interlude.
That's very long interlude.
Yeah, it's a long interlude. 7 minutes, longer than a regular song.
Hold on, I think you're missing cameras. Cameras first.
Oh no, it's cameras / good ones.
Oh, it's all one.
Yeah, it's all one.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So it's all one song. It's two songs. It's got a beat switch in the middle. So the first part of the track is called Cameras. The second part of it is called Good Ones Go, interlude. It's for me it's R&B heavy, even with the beat switch, but it's a filler track for me. I didn't need it. Like it didn't really do anything for me. It was kind of like
so the beat switch. I like that the second half of it when they do the beat switch.
Right.
That beat was by to me.
Too, yeah.
But again, it just seems like they were just letting a beat run and they were just hanging out in the studio, not really doing anything.
Yeah, it didn't need to be part of the album.
Didn't move the needle for me.
I give it a 2.5.
That's dude, you're right there with you.
Okay. Okay, and then next song we got titled "Doing It Wrong." And this has one of your favorite artists. Actually,
it was very surprising
that I love, but one of your favorite
artists. To me, the greatest R&B singer of all time.
And you want to elaborate on it?
So yeah, Stevie Wonder features on the track in a very Stevie Wonder kind of way,
right?
With the harmonica,
right?
And honestly, this I think this is a very well made song. I really like the beat. I think the way that they move the song along until they get to Stevie fits perfect. Stevie singing on it would have been majestic.
Right. So he's not on there vocally.
Yeah.
But he does a harmonica, I want to say at the tail end of the song.
Yeah. And it's a good, solid 90 seconds, I would say, of Stevie going in on the harmonica. And the thing with Stevie's harmonica, it feels like a voice.
Right.
It's not just him playing the harmonica.
It does hit you, right?
Yeah. It moves music in a way that a traditional voice can't.
Right.
So
and honestly, like when you think of harmonica, you don't think of it as a real impressive instrument.
No,
but the way Stevie does it and plays it, he really makes it like a real deal.
Yeah, because the harmonica's been it's been trivialized over time.
It has.
It's the kind of a silly, goofy comedy
kind
thing. People do it with their hands. And so, but I mean, Stevie makes it hit. He makes it hit.
He's serious.
Yeah.
I liked it. I'm going to say a 4.
Yeah, good song. I also would give it a 4. I would have personally that song if it had another artist.
Yeah,
it would have been one of those songs that stays on the playlist.
So, who would you have liked to see on that song?
Ooh, that's pick. I would say that beat. You got Stevie in the mix.
Yeah. Would you have liked to see Stevie himself sing maybe the chorus?
Yeah, I would like to see Stevie do vocals on it. Would have been amazing. I think if you're gonna put a rapper on it, I'd love to see like the Scarface.
Wow,
do something real deep and heavy on it, right?
Yeah, maybe a Bun B.
Yeah, someone with a deep, heavy baritone would have fit the beat perfect. Yeah, but I mean, Drake just knows how to pick beats.
He does.
Musicality is on point.
It's true. Going back to some facts of the album, if we can quickly.
Yeah, sure.
The album cover.
Yes.
So the album cover is very grown up. It's got some classic paintings in the back. It's got him sitting at a table, almost like at a lounge.
Chalice.
Right. And he's got some
a
lot of gold, a lot of dark tone colors.
Yeah.
Do you think he did that subliminally to show that that's the tone of the album? Very kind of a darker.
Yeah, and I think he also did it.
It's a very, like a grown up. He's got the beard, got a little bit more hair. Like he didn't do that. Like
it feels a little bit like
silk shirt looks like it. You know what I mean?
Like he's doing the mafia tropes, right?
Right.
Back against the wall.
Right.
Nobody can come behind me. Like those little details where it's kind of like you're all looking at me.
That's true. I didn't even think about that.
Right.
Right.
And I think it's a great look. If you're gonna have sophomore album, you want to show everybody all eyes on me type feeling. Right. That's what it gives for sure.
What would you rate the album cover?
The album cover looks royal, simple. Yeah. It's a solid 5, man.
Yeah.
Image wise, he knows what he's doing.
I agree. I would give it a solid 5 as well. So I wanted to talk about the production quickly because I think you'd find this interesting. So one of your favorite producers, if I'm correct, is Ninth Wonder.
Yeah. Ooh.
He actually had recruited Ninth Wonder to do a track on this album. Ninth had a problem with it due to the fact that, I don't know if you know this, you might because you're a fan, but Ninth Wonder doesn't give beats to anybody other than the artist himself. So he won't give the beat to
like a middle.
Right.
Yeah.
And in this situation, Drake, he had to give the beat to an AR, and then the A&R was going to give it to Drake. And Ninth Wonder said, no, that's not going to happen. I'm going to give it to Drake. I'm going to play it for Drake, or we're not doing it. And Drake did say later on that he dropped the ball there.
Dude, Ninth Wonder.
What would you think of that collaboration? Because you're more in depth.
I think it would have been amazing because it's not what he's used to rapping on.
Do you think he could justify a Ninth Wonder?
For sure. Like, I think you put Drake on production with a Mad Lib, with a Ninth, on a Dilla beat, that kind of feel, I think you would get something totally different from him.
I think you'd get mixtape Drake.
Yeah, because I think right now the Drake that you get, the sound is cultivated to fit his flow.
Right.
And those producers don't do that.
That's true.
They want you to create the song based on the beat that they give you.
Right.
As the beat being created, to your lyrics, to your style, to your patterns, and your cadence.
Right.
And I think that would just make him do something totally different. Because like one of the things for me, overarching feel on the album is when when the flow gets really monotone for me, that gets very boring. And like if every song gets like that, I need something else.
Fair enough.
Which is why.
But going back to you're saying, but isn't that what a cohesive album is? It is repetition and something.
The repetition is a part of it. I don't think the flows should be repetition.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Right? Because like every Jay-Z project he never uses the same flow.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
Flow is a Rolodex.
That's good point.
So like I want the cohesive to be in the feel, the subject matter, the sound of the beats, the beat selection, the themes of the album. But dude, you gotta give me some variation in the flows and the patterns and the cadences.
That's fair.
I'm big on the cadences. Like I want to hear cadences where I'm like, I never thought somebody would try that. Because like I think that's where Cole really moves the needle for me.
Right.
Like he does all these outrageous cadences that you would never think of.
Kendrick too,
but I think
but J. Cole.
Yeah, I think Cole is more technical.
You're right.
With it.
Yeah.
Where Kendrick is more spirit feeling. Yeah. But I mean, I think the bonus on the song is the quality of the collabs. Right? Because Lil Wayne is all over the place.
Lil Wayne's featured on 4 tracks.
Yeah, and on this, he's all over the place.
He is.
The song is The Real Her, right?
The Real Her, yeah.
And I mean, you got 3 Stacks and Lil Wayne on the track?
So,
crazy.
Right. So for some of you don't know who 3 Stacks is, you want to give them a little
Outkast,
HipHop history lesson?
Outkast, a legendary duo, Andre 3000, aka 3 Stacks. To me personally, the pen game, top 5 pen game of all time.
I wouldn't disagree.
The guy's an absolute monster.
Yeah, he's kind of a myth at this point.
He really is.
Because we haven't heard from him in what?
One,
no, I shouldn't say that. He has made a couple of guest appearances here and there.
Yeah.
But realistically, like an actual full body of work, Outkast hasn't released a full.
Put the flute down.
Put the flute down.
Put the flute down. Change the overalls.
Yeah. We don't need hippie Andre 3000.
And he'll come back. He'll come back to it.
I feel like Erykah Badu has done that.
Yes. Erykah Badu will flip your shit.
Who's also one of my favorites.
The goddess.
Yeah.
The goddess.
But she's got that power over these guys.
Hey, flip me. I'll take it.
All right, you're single.
I'll take it.
Oh, yeah, well, you would be single.
I'll take it. Baduism.
On and on. Yeah, great. Okay, so the Real Her featuring Lil Wayne and Andre the 3000. My thoughts, the beat is not up to par with the features that you have. To have two lyrically, arguably top 10 rappers, Lil Wayne and
100%.
The beat was not, it was subpar.
Very mid.
You know, that was, for me, it was subpar. The beat was subpar. I think Lil Wayne and 3 Stacks did a great job. They brought what they were supposed to bring.
Yeah.
But the beat, and that's where, like I said, I'm music first because the beat really dictates a great song. I know you have your thoughts on that because you're a lyricist, you're an MC, so I understand that. But the beat does have a lot to do with where that
it's the plate,
right?
Yeah,
you can have the best lyrics, but if the beat is whack or subpar, it dilutes the volume work.
It's not a song. It's a cipher.
For me, honestly, I know this sounds crazy with these two legendary features, but I give it a 3.
Okay, so I just want to this piece by Wayne, because to her I'm just a rapper, and soon she'll have met another. So if tonight's an accident, tomorrow will recover. And I know I'm not supposed to judge a book by its cover. I don't want to be in the blind, but sometimes I Stevie wonder.
What do you say to that? And that's Wayne.
That's Lil Wayne. Wayne. And see, that's the thing with Wayne for me. Like,
where do you put Wayne in your?
Okay, so his punchline quality. I mean, I don't think there's a better punchline rapper. But the thing is, for me, Wayne, he just doesn't put out enough music.
You don't think so? Even with the mixtapes and
but dude, he's had a 30-year career, almost 30 years.
But remember, he didn't really hit his mark until the Carter series.
Yeah, I mean, The Block is Hot is a good album.
It's a good album, but it's not a Lil Wayne.
It's not the breakout.
It's not the breakout.
Yeah, you could see where it was going to be.
The Carter
series was a master.
That really took him to that.
Yeah, I would say
a lot of mixtapes. I mean, Mixtape Wheezy. I mean, he must have that.
And his feature game is some of the best ever. I would say he's in my top 10.
Right, but no, you know what? You are right because he almost goes on tangents where you'll see him for a couple of years, and then 4 or 5 years, he's
off the picture.
And then he's skateboarding.
And I'm cool with that. Else. Like, artists are allowed to disappear and do their own thing.
Yeah.
It's just hard when you have so many people that are consistently moving the needle. And he was the culture maker for a long time.
He was.
And for him to vanish and the culture just kind of, I don't say moves on without him. I kind of felt like he moved on without him.
I agree.
He birthed a lot of new artists that copy his style.
I was literally going to say that.
Right?
From the futures. Even Kendrick Lamar, I didn't even realize Kendrick Lamar says that Lil Wayne had a huge impact.
The Young Thugs, Future, all these guys are birthed off Lil Wayne.
So what do you give it?
This song would have gotten much higher if they used a different beat. I would give it a 3, and that hurts because
so we're on the same
dude. The features,
the beat, it's just not good.
Yeah,
not good.
And I mean, like 3 Stacks verse, wasn't like incredible compared to some of the other features he's done over time.
So Wayne was better.
Wayne's verse,
yeah, I agree. Wayne's
verse is one of those verses where like, what? Did you say that? Gotta go back. Wait, what? Because I have to verify if I heard the metaphor correctly. Because sometimes he says stuff and he'll leave you hanging on a line. You're like, wait, there's no way. Like the Stevie Wonder line, there's no way.
Right.
Like you don't expect more after that. And then he gives you another 8 bars where you're like,
Do you think Drake mimics his style sometimes? Yeah. Where he tries to get those ad-libs in, but maybe doesn't deliver it as strong as those?
Yeah, for sure. Right. And I think that's just because they probably spend a lot of time together musically, right? Because they're serial collaborators.
They really are.
Drake's on a lot of Wayne stuff. Wayne's on a lot of Drake stuff. Right. So they go.
They've gone on a tour together. So yeah. Okay. So the next song, "Look What You've Done." I didn't like it. Filler track for me.
Agreed.
Yeah, I give it a 2.
I'm right there with you.
Okay.
I'm right there with you. Even the beat's very mid.
Very mid.
Yeah.
Very mid.
Who is this Chase and Cash. I guess that's one of the
Yeah, see, I didn't do a lot of research on that. They're obviously, I'm assuming they're
probably in-house.
some type of a production team, but just because they were only on one song, I didn't really go in depth with them. And I haven't heard from them, so I'm assuming it's probably some local production team in Toronto, maybe. So yeah, so 2 out of 5 for that. Next track, HYFR. Hell yeah, fucking right. Quotations. So this was one of the hit singles from the song. It's played in some TV shows and stuff. It's kind of popular. It's got a bit of a rock-ish kind of a, right?
It feels like it should have been in a Wayne album.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't like the beat. I honestly don't like.
I don't like the beat, but it's not a bad song.
No, the song is not bad.
Yeah,
I agree there. The beat is very intertwiny. It doesn't.
A little messy.
It's kind of whiny. The beat, right? It's whiny.
Yeah, it's a little messy. I think the hook is good. I think their collab is really solid on this track.
I think rapping.
And the hook is so simple.
It is.
And you got Wayne on a hook talking shit like this. It just feels right. It feels good.
Fair enough.
Hell yeah, fucking right.
I just don't understand why the song was like it's such a big hit. I don't get it. I don't see it.
Honestly, it's one of those drug anthems. You just get high.
That could be it.
And you just rap the hook
because he is rapping like that.
Yeah.
Right. He like Wayne is rapping a little bit like he's slurring a little bit.
He's trying to copy the
pattern. Yeah. I give it a 3.
And like, dude, Wayne's lines.
Spit something.
You bad bitches in the circle. My nuts hang like ain't no curfew. Bitch, if you wave, then I will surf you. I flew jet, she flew commercial, you dick. But we still met later that night. After my session, she came over. I was aggressive and she was sober. I gave her a pill. She started confessing and started undressing and asked me to hold her. Dirty as shit. But he says, I was aggressive.
Right.
She was sober, which is a good thing.
I gave her a pill. What is that?
Yeah.
What are we talking
about? It's very Wayne. It's very Wayne.
It could be anything.
It's very Wayne.
Yeah.
And this is that era it did have a lot of rapey stuff going on.
Right.
This is the whole you ain't even know it era of music.
True. A lot of things slid under the mat, right?
And everyone was grandfathered in. They were grandfathered in from being canceled.
Quick question for you. This album, would it hold up now if it was released tomorrow? Would it hold up?
I think so.
If you listen to it tomorrow for the first time, as is in 2025, would you say this is a pretty solid album?
Yeah, I would say sonically,
so far,
this kind of music, this kind of hip-hop hasn't moved that far away. Okay. I still feel like as like a in the industry, this would still be considered pioneering sound.
Okay.
Even now.
So what you're saying is they were ahead of the curve?
Oh,
they're ahead of their time as far as production is
concerned. I mean, how many people copied Drake after Drake came out, right? Like he spawned a whole industry of
copycats.
True.
That's true.
And not just copycats musically, copycats fashion-wise, hair, beard. All these Arab dudes all think they're Drake. All these Punjabi dudes think they're Drake.
Yeah, he's the poster boy.
Yeah. You know, the style, the fits, all that stuff, right? So I feel like he's always kind of been ahead of the curve culturally.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's what keeps him at the top of the game, right?
Right.
So his crew is solid.
So I gave it a 3. What did you give it? You didn't rate it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Wait, where were we again?
HF.
Oh yeah. I would give it a 3 as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next song is Practice.
Yes.
So this is dear to our hearts because the song no features, but it's got a classic sample from an artist named Juvenile. And if you're in our age demographic, you know exactly who Juvenile is because he's got probably undeniably the biggest party dance stadium get it off song in history. Like I would be very confident in saying that. Yeah, so what This Is How We Do It did for the 90s, Juvenile did. But that was R&B. For sure. But in hip hop, what would be close to? So the song we're referring to is Back That Ass Up. And it was from Juvenile's second album, his sophomore album, 400 Degrees. And me and Elite, we actually listened to this album when it was first released. I had bought it from a store called A&B Sound, which some of you guys might remember. Classic. We literally went to my house in the basement. That's where we used to listen, and then we just listened to the whole album, not thinking that it would be the cultural phenomenon that it is now. Yeah. But Back That Ass Up or Back That Thing Up, the edited version, that beat, when that beat hits, you look it up on YouTube. People will play it. DJs will play it in between.
Down.
So there's a clip on YouTube at it's a Chris Brown concert in an arena. Totally sold out. You gotta look at this. They're doing the halftime, not halftime, but they're doing the, what do you call it? The break, the in-between break, whatever you want to call it. So he goes off stage, so it's just the DJ not playing music, right? He puts on Back That Ass Up. Everybody and their mom in that arena literally gets up and they're just dancing, rapping along with it. I mean, that's what this song
I don't
means.
think there's another song.
You've seen it in TV shows, and they sometimes they'll play it, and it just.
I don't know of another song that's got that impact.
For hip hop, honestly, when that's tough.
Maybe you'd have to go to like an OPP.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Hip Hop Parade, maybe
that's a good
maybe
one.
Naughty. Like
that's
Naughty.
Yeah, hip hop. Yeah, Naughty had a couple. Two Live Crew, but Two Live Crew's dirty,
and it's for a very narrow audience.
True.
Yeah, no, Back That Ass Up is one of the biggest songs of all time.
Right?
Yeah, 100%.
So, and you play it at a party. You're getting up. You're nodding your head. You're doing, even if you don't dance. I don't dance. But you're nodding your head, you're moving something.
Yes. Which is why, for me, this song doesn't work.
So the sample is not a straight. So they've sampled
practice.
They call practice. The song is called Practice. They've sampled the beat, but they've sampled it in a way where they've slowed it down. They slowed down the original beat, and it's almost very subdued. It's a subdued version of it because the album is that. So I call it Back That Ass Up on Lithium. So if any of you have taken lithium, you know, it just kind of, I might have taken it. I don't even remember. But lithium will kind of numb you.
Right.
And this is the numbed version of Back That Ass.
And it's kind of like a love song to a stripper.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that why you don't like it? Because it doesn't stay true to the original beat?
It doesn't feel like an homage. It feels like...
Well, was it an homage? I don't think
maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was the cover. It feels a little more like stealing. Okay, so let's.
No, you know what? I take that back. It is an homage because he sings the chorus.
Yeah. So he says in the beginning of the song, he goes, "Yeah, cash money shit, cash money shit." Okay, but where's the Juvenile shout out? Why not? For me, if this song starts off, it'd be like, "Shout out to Juvenile." He didn't have to say it like that. Well, however you say it. But if something, or he could have done something clever in the beginning with wordplay to include Juvenile, a reference to his somewhere. So for me, I'm like, and then when he starts doing the "girl, you're good," and then even afterwards,
which is one of the most famous choruses in hip hop.
Insane. Yeah. Let me see. I know there's other stuff here.
He even like he copied.
Right. And like,
well, I mean, he literally hijacks the lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, when you hear Juvenile,
that's the same.
The southern drawl makes this work.
Yeah.
So you work it with some like it really works because this drawl is so thick. But when you sing the song,
it's got no seasoning in it.
It's a bit of a fever dream almost.
Right.
So for me, this is probably one of the lowest rated songs for me.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I give this a 1.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you would have given it a little bit more just because of the beat and what
the beat is banging.
Yeah.
When I hear him do it,
right,
it just makes me cringe.
You don't like it.
It's hard to get through. It's very hard.
I give it a 3 because I really love that song, the original song, and I feel like it's not the. I mean, I agree. It's not the greatest homage, but there's something nostalgic about hearing that beat again.
Yeah, and I mean, shout out to Juvenile. He had an amazing Tiny Desk.
He did. I saw
a concert
on NPR.
If you guys haven't seen it, you want to see a great hip hop Tiny Desk. Juvenile is amazing.
Live instruments, amazing. Yeah. But I feel like Drake did, and he does this a lot, where he kind of introduces his younger generation to older music.
Yeah. Right. He does take some artists,
because if you're listening to this song as a younger person, you're gonna be like, oh, and if someone says, oh, do you know that's a sample from? Then you're gonna go refer to that song and you'll be like, oh wow, this is a dope song too.
Yeah, I mean that would be the goal. I think.
I'm not saying that happens a lot, but I think that's.
I'm sure that's a part of the process.
And I appreciate that.
I do appreciate it. I feel like sometimes his takes are steals instead of assists. Yeah.
Well, that's why Ghostface had a problem with it, because he had a song called Wu-Tang. He literally had a song called Wu-Tang, but it had nothing to do with Wu-Tang.
Yes.
The beat didn't have a RZA feel at all.
Yeah.
The rapping had, there was no anything for Wu-Tang.
No, that was a weird one.
So that's what you kind of see here, right? Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Next song. So the final song on the original album is called "The Ride."
Oh.
And then we're gonna visit two more songs which were on the bonus album. So initially, the initial album only had 16 tracks and it ended with this song. And then as artists do nowadays, everything's now a deluxe version, and then this version is just a money grab, right?
Yeah.
So the last song is called "The Ride." No features. Produced by The Weeknd and a guy named Doc McKinney. I'm not sure who that is. It's got a chill vibe, a Weeknd
song. Yeah.
It's a filler track for me. I didn't need it.
Yeah. This is a song, I mean, I think this is a song when you get to this place in the album, you just kind of, sitting in your car, background noise.
Yeah.
It's got that kind of a feel. Yeah. Nothing that is too extraordinary.
Right. I give it a 3.
Same. I'm there.
Okay. So the last two tracks are digital bonus tracks, like I said earlier. It's on the deluxe version of the album. So track 17, I guess, is a song called "The Model." Now this
Monster
is one of my favorite songs, not of Drake, but in general in the last 15 years.
Dude,
one of my
this is songs. A monster.
So it's produced by T-Minus, and I'm gonna say it's my favorite track of the album. This is my favorite track.
Yeah, it's definitely in my top 3 on this album for sure.
It's got a very Bay Area hypey vibe. If some of you know what that sound is,
on this,
the Mr. Fab, the Mac Dre, that whole, and he shouts out Mac Dre in the all right.
And the hook is solid.
It's
right. Yo, the hook is fire.
He kills it.
Yeah, well done song.
It's the flow is amazing. I totally agree. I think this is as close as you can get to a perfectly structured song. Yeah. The chorus is good, the flow is good, the music is good.
Yeah, it's like what kind of like what Money Trees does. Right. Those kind of collabs are just like, this is just magic. Just magic.
And they nailed that Bay Area sound so well.
Yeah.
And this is an homage to the Bay Area.
Yeah, right? And I mean, I think Wayne's flow on this is very different than what Wayne normally does. Right. I think he literally rapped on this, especially when he's like, "It's Eastside, we in this bitch, we're like a tree in this bitch. Right. If I leave fall, but some weed in that bitch, that's my ammo." Like that Wayne flow, that's Wayne rapping.
That's classic Wayne.
Yeah, there's no auto tune, there's none of that mumble stuff. That is bars.
Right. And I forgot to mention that Lil Wayne's on this album, on this song. I think this was the best Lil Wayne feature.
For sure.
Out of the 4 features, this was the strongest.
Yeah. This is,
as far as being,
this is Wayne at his best.
Right.
Yeah.
Who out-rapped who? Because Drake is solid.
Drake did a good job on this. Yeah. I like Drake's. I would say. I think for Wayne, this is for me one of my favorite Wayne flows. Right. So I think Wayne takes it. But no hate on Drake, man. Drake rapped the shit out of this song, man.
I give it a 5.
Yeah, it's 5 for me too.
5 for me.
Like, I love the Uncle Luke shoutouts.
Right.
Right. Very rare. You don't get a lot of Uncle Luke shoutouts.
You don't. You don't get enough credit.
Yeah, and the 25 mil. And when they get up to them stuff. Yeah. It did a great job.
Yeah. Solid. Last song on the album, on the deluxe album, is called "Hate Sleep Alone," produced by 40. For me, it's basically rapping, singing about heartbreak at its finest.
Yes,
and going through things. Now, saying that, I had reached out to my niece. Shout out to Tifa. She's 17. She's a huge Drake fan. And she's not just a Drake fan, like, oh, I like Drake. Yeah. No, she likes Drake in the fact that she can name you songs of which album, and he's got a lot of albums. Yeah, she can tell you like this song's coming out. She's coming.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see, we're Gen Z, Gen Y.
I think we're Z.
We're Z, right?
I think that's wrong, but
yeah, we're Gen X. We're Gen X. Yeah. So she's Gen Z. So
Big gap.
what would you say his bulk of fans is? I mean, I know you're a Drake fan, but you follow the industry. Would you say that the Gen Zs, the 17, 18 to 21, let's say 10-year-old to 21, is that his demographic?
I think it's older than that. I would say for guys, because there's a lot of men that are Drake heads. I would say if you're 35 and under, you're fucking with Drake.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think it maybe goes as young as that anymore. Yeah. I think maybe his fan base starts at around the 17
fair enough.
area. But dude, I think 35 and unders fuck with Drake. I think he kind of leads their generation. Like if you ask them, like, my daughter's 17 as well.
Right.
And I've had her friends over. When they play music, Drake will sneak in, and I'll always mention the pedophile thing to them.
Right.
And I'll always bring it up.
Yeah.
And they'll tell me straight up, yeah, it's fucked up, but we're gonna listen to it.
Right.
And then I'll bring up the Kendrick thing. Oh yeah, but Kendrick, and they'll almost verbatim across the group of these kids, they'll all say the same thing. We know Kendrick's better, but we don't listen to his music.
Now, is that going back to beat selection, or is it just because you're Drake and you're Kendrick and you're the popular kid and you're the backpack kid?
I think Kendrick's
become the popular kid now.
Kendrick's definitely the popular kid. But I also think that Kendrick is,
because Kendrick wants to be popular. It's not.
So Kendrick's not an acquired taste, right? He makes mainstream music.
Not anymore.
Yeah, like even if you go back to Good Kid, even if you go back to All Right.
True.
Right? That's a pretty mainstream hip hop song.
But how many of his songs played on radio? Not many.
That's what it is.
Right?
That's what it is. So for the kids, when they hear Kendrick, in their minds, they're like, okay, Kendrick is the guy that we should like. Drake is the guy that we listen to.
Right.
And I think that's kind of been a parallel in hip hop for a long time with certain artists.
Yeah.
They'll be like, the commercial dude will be like, fuck, I hate that guy. I should like that guy, but I still listen to that guy. I think that's always been a dynamic in hip hop. I don't think the dynamics have been so obvious like it is now.
Yeah.
Where like Kendrick can turn like the whole culture on its head, right?
Right.
That we haven't seen that in a long time.
It's true.
I don't think we've seen that since Pac. I think Pac, when he was saying "fuck East Coast,"
I would almost have to agree with
right. Like,
he really brought on a revolution.
He made you hate those guys. Like I hated those dudes in the East Coast Pac, right?
Yeah.
And I think and it's weird.
In Bad Boy, we didn't want anything to do with Bad Boy.
Exactly. And we cut out a lot of music because of Pac.
True.
So to turn the whole culture on his head like that is a completely different thing. And I don't think Drake ever even thinks about doing that. I think in Drake's mind, I'm going to sell the most records. I'm going to make the most money. I'm going to be a name that you're never going to forget.
Right.
Whereas Kendrick's like, I'm going to create a piece of art that's going to stamp this time in history that's going to be talked about for generations to come.
Yeah.
And I don't think the revolution part is, kids don't give a fuck about the revolution.
Right.
Right.
But I mean, even as us, the older generation in our 40s, although we look like we're probably in our late 20s.
Yeah, I would say so. You are gonna pass.
Yeah. It wasn't always about revolutionary music.
No,
we just like good music. A lot of hip hop is not revolutionary.
No, for sure.
But it's good music. So Drake, going back to my niece, your daughter, good music is good music.
It's a vibe,
right?
They want the vibe,
right?
And they told me straight up, we vibe.
Right.
That's the vibe. So
right.
Again,
so
this is one of those songs.
So does it bug you that your kids may listen to a Drake song?
Yeah. Not even Drake. When Young Thug comes up, or when Future comes up, and they'll tell me straight up, we know they're problematic. Right. We know they're problematic.
Right.
But we can listen to it. And see, my son, who's 23, is different.
Right.
He understands that problematic makes the music poison. So in his mind, he's able to. Dude, my son's music taste is so eclectic.
Right.
Dude, all over the place with music. Right. But his hip hop choices are solid. Like he doesn't mess with any of the garbage. So like he the new artists he'll listen to will be like Smino,
right?
Saba.
That's really like
like these are the Joey Badass. These are the guys pushing the culture musically for hip hop, right? So
with an old school vibe. Right. So I asked her about just. What do you think? What is it for your generation? I'm just reading a couple quick notes. She basically had said to me, he talks a lot about bullying, social media, what it can do to a person. You're in the spotlight, and it makes these kids feel like there's someone listening to what they're going to, because that's what they're living in. They're living in a social media world, right?
Right.
TikTok, what this person said about me, how does it affect me? And that Drake does a lot of that on the album, how things affect him. Because, a lot of people go against him and talk about him. So that was one of the things, how he talked about relationships and how they're fickle, and some of them are real. What is real? That these kids can relate to that, because they're living in a very different world, I guess. She said that this was her favorite album of old Drake.
Right.
Because the whole album for her and her generation is very relatable.
Yeah.
Just because of the stuff he went through. So I think also not only musically, but I think where Kendrick talks to maybe the culture, Drake talks to the
anxious. Shit's too difficult.
Right.
They are that generation.
They are.
And there's moments where I hear him rap and it feels like, obviously because of all the stuff that we've kind of heard and seen now, to me, when I hear the stuff that he says in the raps, it feels like he's talking directly to a 15-year-old.
Right.
Right? And I don't see that as I'm trying to be relatable. Because of the stuff that we've seen and heard, I see that as, oh, this motherfucker's grooming a whole population. He's grooming a generation of fans to feel this way about him. And to me, that's when I started thinking, like, oh, geez, that's fucked up. That and it's so weird because I know I've had this conversation with other people that are adult women, and adult women hear me say that and they're like, oh fuck, that's exactly what he's doing. He's grooming these fucking girls. But
yeah, okay, that, I mean, I can see where you're going.
And the kids listening to it, receiving it, they don't see that. They see this
of course,
multi-millionaire, looks good, balls out, does all these cool things. He's the guy they want to be with.
Yeah, but I think the thing to his music, he's not just making it for kids.
For sure, totally,
right?
Totally,
it's subjective.
Yeah, it totally is.
Right.
It's just that when you start to look at some of the overarching things that have been said, right? If you talk about the whole pedophile thing, I'm sure he's not a pedophile. I'm sure Drake's not sleeping with 15-year-olds. I also don't think that he's not. I also think that he's making decisions that are going to have these 15-year-olds obsessed with him when they're 19. And that's where it gets weird to me because he has dabbled in very young girls. So when I start to look at it that way, I'm kind of like, ew, oh, I don't like that. Oh, that doesn't feel good. That's when it gets weird for me.
Fair enough. And that's fair. That's fair. I mean, that's where we have this.
And I've been very polite about it.
You have. You've been very.
I didn't go all in.
Mind you, you did take an extra therapy session this week.
Yes, and then extra 10 milligrams.
Right.
Cannabis edibles.
Right.
So yeah.
We actually. I just got a text about our audio. Is our audio okay? Apparently, they're saying they can't hear us
at all.
Yeah. Am I wrong in saying?
The mic looks like it's on.
Yeah.
So you guys can't hear us at all? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, sound is back, she said.
Oh, weird.
Okay. So I don't know what you guys missed. Sorry, I think our.
Because that's one of them. It's getting to the 90-minute mark. That's what it is.
Okay.
It's one of those reminders.
Okay. So let's wrap it up here.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, your final thoughts and your rating on the album.
So my final thoughts, as I kind of learned more about the songs in the context of it, the overall album, I would say I'm going to give it a 3 CDs out of a certified on this 90s OG chart. His first album, Mixtape Drake, I'm sure we'll talk about that one. I'm sure that'll get a much different score because I was really fucking with that album. But I feel like there's too many, like we said earlier, I feel like there's too many fillers. Some of the interpolations didn't work for me.
Right.
some of the beat selection is a little too drastic, jarring as far as how they feel and they sound. So overall, I'm giving it a 3. Fuck, and I'm glad I see the day giving Drake props. But yeah, I would say it's a 3 on the certified OGs meter.
So quick question. If it wasn't, if you didn't feel a certain type of way of his personal issues, where would you be a Drake? I'm not a fan, but let's say, would you mess with his music?
I would tolerate it. Like I wouldn't go and seek it out.
Right. So yeah. Just generally, you're not a fan, not a big.
This
not a fan. You don't like.
Yeah. So like the same way I would feel about.
But you like the mixtape.
Future. Yeah, because that wasn't like that. That wasn't this thing.
So if you rap on most albums like that, would you
with a variety of beats?
Yeah. Would you have a different?
It would be. He'd be a completely different artist. Okay. Because it would show versatility. It would show change. It would show kind of like what I can do.
Right.
This is almost like they're creating a formula.
Yeah.
And they subscribe to the formula, and they did.
Got it.
Very successfully.
They did. They did.
10 years, right?
Yeah.
Dominated the charts.
So you give it a 3.
I'll give it a 3.
Right, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a passing grade.
It's a passing grade.
60%.
It's on its way to certified.
It's a C-.
Yeah.
But it's not horrible. You're going to go to the next grade. I give it a 3.5. Yeah, a 3.5.
Okay.
Just because too many fillers for me. If you had cut the fat a bit and 3-4 songs out of there, I think I would have probably given it a 4. The songs that I like are really good.
Yeah. Yeah, like the 3 for me, the 3 big bangers are great songs.
And sometimes I'd rather have that than an album of 10 songs that are, every song is mid. They're not horrible, but they're not good. I'd rather have an album of 15 songs where 3 are songs you can play now.
Yeah.
15 years later, 10 years later, whatever the case is. So I give it 3.5.
Wow.
CDs out of 5, yeah.
So it's all, so essentially the goal of these is to give you a certified OG mark, stamp of approval.
Yes.
We got a 3 CDs, we got a 3.5 CDs. And I'm going to say overall, I thought you'd give it a little bit more, but I'm guessing for you, revisiting Drake at this time is probably a different experience than when you first heard it.
It is.
Yeah.
And like I said, it all comes down to the music for me. Music is a big part. And although, like I said, the songs that were great. Sonically, every song was very good. But like I said, not a bad album, but not my favorite Drake album.
So make sure you do the subscribes, hit the button,
Please.
hit the notifications on the Facebook page, hit the like on the High Praise podcast events.
Yes.
The goal is to continue to do these episodes and bring you new albums to talk about. We're going to try and move the needle a little bit into the future more.
Okay.
Maybe one that's been dropped in the past 5 years. Shoot us some DMs. Let us know what you want to hear.
Suggestions.
Yeah, for sure. I know you guys gave us some options on the poll last time. We may revisit some of that stuff. Maybe we should talk about a female rapper this time. We could definitely do that as well, because there's a lot of dope female artists out there. But make sure you do your subscribes, your likes. I am Alite.
I'm Riz.
Talk to y'all later, man.
Peace.